Speaking of not like us, XXL freshman class 2024. Not quite sure why it says not like us on the cover, but
it's kind of whack that they did that. I'm not gonna lie.
And that's not a Kendrick thing. It's very unoriginal of XXL to do that, in my opinion. Like, what does that have to do?
What does that have to do with any of these people?
Well, do they name the XXL cover every year? Do they do like a cute little catchphrase or anything?
No.
Like maybe next up.
Yeah. We got next, or like
yeah. Not just what the hottest song is at the moment to just put right there.
Y'all not like them.
Like
and it's interesting they didn't do their
like when Young
rap.
M.A. in 2014, they didn't just put like, ooh, the class of 2014.
Yeah, no.
It's a little corny to me. But I'm not really mad at the choices this year. Usually I have no idea who the fuck is on this cover, but the pictures here were cool.
Listen, the Bronx legend is on the cover. Cash Cobain.
Anyone from the Bronx is a legend, right?
Cash Cobain's a legend for sure. Shout out to Skilla Baby, Boss Man Dealer. Boss Man Dealer had a show here in the city, I think last week.
Really?
Somebody had told me about it. I didn't know until like the late that night it was over. I probably would have went to that just to see what that was like. See what a Boss Man Dealer show was like.
Yeah, four bats on there. Scarlet, that Mexican OT, who's great. Huncho. A lot of people on here.
Maya the Dawn.
Shout out Lay
Scarlet.
Banks.
Shout out to Scarlet.
Shout out Lay Banks. That's my girl.
Oh, and they did a producer. Have they done a producer in the past?
Well, it's the person that mixes the freestyle.
I was about to say, because Southside is definitely not a freshman.
Yeah, it's usually a legacy person for the
Okay,
beat.
got you. Will they do the freestyles this year?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
If they saying beats by Southside.
I think, what was the, what year was it when it was Uzi, Denzel Curry, Yachty?
2016.
To me, that was like, we talk about extremely pivotal moments in hip hop. Like, we've talked a million times about the Kanye beating 50 thing for the first time to show like nerds were beating the street shit.
Mm-hmm.
That 2016 XXL freestyle is one of the most pivotal moments, whether you like it or not, in hip hop and how it changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sound completely changed. And look at everyone was on that cover and where they are now.
Right. Kodak Black, 21 Savage, Uzi, Yachty.
Denzel Curry.
Like this really epitomized what the future was looking like. And again, whether you like that or not is your own opinion. And I remember the day when this dropped. I'm not saying I was sitting there going like, the future is here. I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Old head Twitter was really pissed during this day. And I see why if you grew up on a different type of hip hop. But I think we all, as like the older haters, need to look back at this and see where all these gentlemen are now.
Oh yeah,
and the good that they have done.
Like, oh yeah.
This was a wild moment in hip hop.
I mean, because it's, at that time, when was this? 2016?
Yeah.
This was just the look, the aesthetic was just so much different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, the prototypical hip hop heads was like, yo, what is this shit? But this was just the next generation expressing themselves. They sound different, they look different.
All to this day are covering different bases of hip hop.
Yeah.
Even, Denzel Curry still fucks with the underground Griselda guys and everything too. Like they covered their bases on this one. There's been a lot of shitty years with XXL, but this one they got right. They knocked this one out the park as far as freshmen and who was up next.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's y'all favorite class?
Oh man.
I love 09.
Who was that?
Big Sean.
Wale, Asher Roth, Corey Guns, B.O.B., Charles Hamilton,
Blue,
Mickey Fax, Ace Hood, Currency, Kid Cudi, 09. Like 2007 had some great people on it, but it didn't make a lot of noise. 09, I feel like, is when the freshman allure started. Because they like really did a full rollout for that entire thing.
2011's tough.
2010 is crazy. Cole, Pill, Nipsey, Freddie, Big Sean, Wiz Khalifa, OJ the Juice Man, J-Rock, Vashawn, Donis. Yeah, it's nuts.
2011, I mean, Meek, Big Crit, Sci-Hi, and then for me, I mean, Mac, YG, Lil B, Kendrick.
When do y'all feel like this stopped mattering?
Shit, after 2016.
After 2015.
Yeah. I feel like it stopped mattering to us because we got older. I feel like it still matters to the younger generation.
I feel like the younger generation, no offense to XXL, doesn't give a fuck about XXL. We revere XXL because we grew up on it. But when they went full digital, these kids were on other blogs and other sites.
Yeah.
Like XXL didn't really capitalize digitally. But I also can't hate here. 2017, you have A Boogie there, PNB Rock, Playboy Cardi, and Tentacion. Like, those guys are legends in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt in 2017 it didn't matter that much, but clearly they got it right. Yeah, I give them a lot of shit, but they do get it right.
Yeah, 2018, they got it right too.
19's a tough lineup. Tierra Whack, DaBaby, Roddy Ricch, Cordae, Rico Nasty, Gunna, Blueface, Megan Thee Stallion.
They got it. They get it right every year. I ain't gonna lie to you.
But it's also like they're not taking risks. There's no one new
Oh, for sure.
on these lists.
They are established people for the most part.
I mean, Saucy
Within up and
Santana,
coming.
2022. That's a
I think it's like what
Home
Rory
run.
said though. Once it went digital, once XXL went digital, and like because we used to find out who the freshman cover was, like when we saw it, or speaking for myself, when I was actually in the store and saw the magazine.
Yeah.
It wasn't about seeing it on Instagram and things like that. Like you would actually see it at the newsstand. So I think once that kind of phased out and it went straight digital, it kind of lost the allure that it had at one point. But just as far as the list, they do a pretty good job at putting the people in the class that turn out to do some really, really dope things in the culture. So for that, I salute XXL. But I just don't think that it means as much as it did at one point because the transition from just print to digital, well, digital was taking over everything. I think they were one of the brands that kind of lost some of the allure because of the transition.
And what year did Hov tell Benny not to do it?
Well, Benny was on it. What was that?
Or advised against it? Hov was saying it just doesn't have the same allure. It doesn't have the same validation. Like,
yeah. And
Benny, you're above a lot of these artists already, and now they're just catching up. So
yeah.
like
2019.
2019.
That was right before the pandemic.
Listen, man, they missed Drake in 09. So
yeah.
I still have that cover and that whole magazine. Drake is in the show and prove section or whatever.
Yeah.
Of that freshman cover of like, yo, this guy is a Canadian actor, which is crazy that he is in that article, but is not one of the freshmen at that time. But I don't know. I mean, still a pastime that I love. It's nostalgic. I'm curious what these freestyles would look like, even if they do them. I think Mexican OT might clean up everybody.
Yeah, he's nice. He really is.
I think people underestimate how good he can rap.
Sidestep, because I'm just looking at the rest of this cover here. There's a question here in this box. Are streamers and podcasters running hip hop? Is this like a newer conversation? I feel like this has been had, or am I just because I'm living it? I may be talking about it more.
That might be the interview that I did. I think I did an interview I think it was XXL for this. That might be it.
Oh, so Maul is in the class of 2024.
You one of the freshmen?
No,
damn, you being in the cover that says "not like us" is very ironic.
I think I did it.
That is hilarious.
I think I did the interview.
Look how
and
God
I think
works.
that's what it was. It was the topic was that are streamers and podcasters.
Oh, so
I mean, as far as media goes, yeah, I think that I don't even think you need to pose that question. But that's also why a lot of print that went digital is just so late to the party. Like, the answer is yes, and it's not even close. If they're talking about media.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's a rather redundant question.
It depends on how they're asking it. Are they running the coverage or are they running the actual hip hop, not just the coverage of hip hop, if that makes sense?
I think the real question to pose if they're trying to get ahead of the curve to have a conversation is, will streamers permanently replace podcasters in hip hop media?
Yeah.
That would be the combo to have for the next 5 years if it's going to shift like that. But yeah, I mean, the answer is yes. Who else would? Radio?
Would you guys become streamers if that's where it moves to?
Of course, you have to adapt.
I'm not mad at it. I mean, I would want to kind of change the way you stream.
As far as what? Give me an example.
I'm not having a sleepover.
I mean, you won't even have us over for dinner.
Well, no, I think what Demaris is saying, it's less like this studio like this. It's more just about the medium being streaming rather than like us cutting this, editing, putting this on YouTube, Patreon, whatever.
Streaming has a lower overhead.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I think we do stream in our own right with the audience we have when it comes to like Discord Live and the private YouTube links that we put out to Patreon and even like Twitter Spaces. I know that's not traditional streaming per se, but it is in the moment media.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, if the adjustment had to come where all the audiences no longer want podcasts in this form, where they can listen to it whenever they want,
Mm-hmm.
they may want a 8 p.m. every Wednesday night, and then we throw it out the next day.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to adapt, you have to adapt.
You definitely have to adapt. But yeah, I'm not against streaming.
Would you
Not again.
guys start, like, let's say I brought that up next production meeting. We're producing right now. If I brought that up next production meeting, hey, we're going to pick a day of the week. We're going to stream every
If
single
that
day.
Kendrick show wasn't so late, we would have streamed that in these seats
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, and we've done that. I'm always with that shit.
Looking
It
back, I'm
fits with our
glad we
schedule.
didn't though.
Why?
Come on, man.
You don't want to hate in real time.
No, I
Okay.
can't. I wouldn't want to sit here and stream, and it just wasn't. The show wasn't worth that to me. It was okay. It was cool, but
But I mean, streaming isn't really based on doing it for what is the quality. It's watching it in real time. If it ends up sucking, that you're just streaming some shit that
yeah, but
sucks.
But that's
you
what
don't
I'm
know.
saying.
If
So
it's
we
gonna be
sitting here watching it because we have to watch the show.
Well, that's why a lot of people do like streaming, because it is in real time, and especially if it's something we're all watching together, they feel even more a part of it.
This
The way we used to talk about how
Twitter.
podcasting feels like fans think that this is like their group chat. That's why they like it.
Mhm.
Streaming is that on steroids. They feel like they're in the group chat at the real moment of what we're watching. So I get the value of it. It's definitely the next platform, if not already the dominant force of everything.
For sure.
I just think there's still value in traditional podcasting right now.
Absolutely.
So you just have to find a balance of both. That's all.